Real quick, team, before we kick off this call, just want to thank Matthew Belk and the entire team at Better Car People for taking the time to present, our network with this valuable information during these challenging times. Thank our field and brand teams, of course, and lastly, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank all of you, the dealers, who are doing an exceptional job keeping our customers dialed and engaged throughout this challenging time. In addition to this webinar, there are other valuable items out there. One, our BDC support app that is housed on Global Connect. Please be sure to check that out. There's a ton of information, from Better Car People, in addition to our other BDC approved vendors, call scripts, best practice phone handling leads, virtual BDC tools during this time. And if you do have any questions, please reach out to myself. My email's there, and my colleagues, John and Michael, as well. Lastly, there has been a Shop Click Drive broadcast. I believe that was two or 3 weeks ago now. That is recorded on Global Connect as well, and there's a Q&A session at the end. And then lastly, there are some topical Center of Learning courses on the Center of Learning app that talks about some of these different courses related to this topic that we're going to dive into now, with convert more leads, phone skills, you name it. So be sure, I encourage you to check out these other resources that are available to you through Global Connect. And with that, Matthew, let's get started.
Great. Thanks, Gino. Okay, hey guys, my name is Matthew Belk. They made me do this slide because a lot of you may not know me. I've been doing meetings for GM since 2008, but my claim to fame kind of is I worked for Hendrick Automotive Group. I ran their e-commerce for about 10 years. In 2007, we sold over 27,000 cars to start off with emails. It was 35% of our business, and that was when the iPhone came out. So real ahead of the game. I was cheating. I had a fantastic deal group, lots of good managers, but we were never enamored by the technology. We always just looked to see what the customer's expectations are, and that has followed through to Better Car People. We founded Better Car People in 2010. We have over 1,000 GM dealers, over 2,000 dealers total, that we help out with virtual sales. Is what we do over and over again. So the reason we mention that is because we're going to use data that you may not have available yourself because you're one dealer. And that's what I found out when I left Hendrick. It was so fantastic to have 64 dealers, 20 different manufacturers, because I could have a view of everything. But when you're one dealership, it's hard. You're an island. So we're going to try to give you some data that can hopefully make you make some better decisions. So consider a subject matter expert, much to my own chagrin, on automotive retailing. Been doing it for a long time and just a student of the game. Speaking of which, it's not just automotive. I just finished up a MIT school in learning in strategy and innovation. So some of the information that we have, particularly on the machine learning, that kind of stuff, it's a month old. It's not long. And but my biggest thing is my wife and I, we have 8 kids and 10 grandchildren. And I know, just like you guys, you use your family as guinea pigs to see how people use the internet, right? I have done this forever. So I have my kids are absolutely our customers right now, and my grandkids are just getting there. At least my oldest grandson, he is a customer of the body shop, unfortunately, but we're going to keep working on that. So I'll bring you some stuff, because I've looked at, like, my son has bought, during Corona, has bought a blazer. I found it. I use Shop Click Drive to figure out that you could get a blazer for $300 a month. I'm going to share with you how we need to use these things at our disposal to be able to do that kind of stuff. So make it easier for the customer. All right. So current state of lead management. Why you all got 155 people now are on this call? Why are we here? That's because things have changed. This is the change. Right now, these are the statewide ordered shelter at home states. So just about everybody, if you guys are in Arkansas or Oklahoma or Nebraska right now, sorry, but just about everybody is shelter at home. What that means is that we have to communicate now virtually. We have to find ways to get more information to our customers. And so before, lead management was a good idea. Now it is your lifeblood, because literally it's illegal to have showroom traffic. So, or basically. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we're putting our best foot forward here. It's still a competition. People still can go to other dealerships. They do have time on their hands. They do understand that it's going to be a little different process than it was before. I think it actually might be a good thing for us to do a better job of meeting our customers' expectations. So what are we looking at? We're looking at less leads right now. We actually are looking at a lot of consumers doing looking for vehicles out there, but we are looking at some less leads. Now, we understand that because at Better Car People, we process 1.3 million leads a month. So we get to see these trends again over many, many dealers for so that you may not be able to see in your dealership individually. Now, what we want to look at is what is value to your customer today, because it is different than 2007. It's different than 2015. What value to your customer today is different. We're going to talk about that. And then we have to look at remote work because we're going to remotely. We have to, Better Carpio has over 100 people. We're all working remotely right now. We're able to pull that off in 48 hours. It was crazy, but we work with dealers every day talking about what tools and techniques do we need to use to be able to engage and sell vehicles. And we don't just believe, we know it is possible, and it might even be better. So let's go ahead and talk about some techniques. We're going to jump right into it. All right. Response time still matters. So it's still a competition, maybe even more than before. And that is because people have time at home. They're at home. They have time to do research. They're going to spend more time on videos, on figuring out which vehicle they're looking for. So we still need to respond quickly. Funny thing though, and this is in the last 30 days, so Corona time, 40% of your leads are coming after hours. So we need to find out how to make sure you engage after hours. Just one thing we want to bring up right up front, because a lot, everybody wants 10% or better closing ratio. And we know that the GM average is around 6%. Well, that means that 40%, you're missing 40% of your closing ratio. Well, that may just be those after hour leads. If you're not answering, or you're using an autoresponder, you're only getting about 10% engagement after hours. We know, because we've done this since 2009. We've had people on 365, 24/7, 365, or 66 this year. We get 30% engagement if you have a real response. So work on that part of it, but also during the day, even though we're remote, we still have to get after those leads right away. All right, so we're going to get to the leads. Matthew, we're going to do this. Okay. So what is self-service? Well, self-service is something a lot of people are getting used to. You may have seen a kiosk. Remember when we used to go into McDonald's? Uh, you may have seen a kiosk there. And I like these. I saw the first one of these a few years back. My son was getting married in Guatemala, and I went into a McDonald's that had a kiosk. It's fantastic because I just hit English and I could hit everything. But I actually prefer this because I know I know I'm going to get what I'm looking for. I don't have to translate to somebody else for them to put it into the system. We like this. Well, even though that's not being used as much right now, groceries are. Right now, that is last time I was in my grocery store with my mask on. Um, I saw I saw all these grocery store employees with carts, and I thought they were like stocking, but they're using regular carts. What they were doing, and they had their phones out, they were shopping for other people. So this self-service is something that more people, millions and millions of more people, have been using since Corona, since the quarantine, uh, than they were before. We are really familiar with this use self-service, and what we do is we've done this since 2004 with DMN lead responses. So Better Car People we've set over 1 million appointments using self-service templates. And what is that? That is just that when you send out an email, this is something I want you guys to think about because it's not high tech. You can do this. We send an email that says, hey, you have 14% oil life left. I need an oil change, or I had one, I'm not interested. If you click I need an oil change, we allow you through our system or OSS to be able to set your own oil change. We have over 1 million people have done that already. So this is the kind of thing that we want to start to think about. What kind of products do you already have, you're already paying for, that you can help your customer self-service go through to find out parts of their deal right now? And we're going to go through some of these with you, but it does work. It's going to work even more because this is the way the market's going. Now, what is value to your customer? Trust, time, and transparency. Now, I got these from my good buddy David Kane with Kane Automotive, great trainer. But think about this right now. Think about you and how you do your purchases. I need to trust someone. Do we trust Amazon when we use them? We do. We are not going to. You're not going to work with, and certainly customers are not going to work with someone they don't trust. Are you going to save me time? Or are you going to make that time valuable? We have to be able to make the time, and the transparency. You cannot hide things from me. I need to know what's going on. I am used to this and the rest of this Amazon economy. How can you make that happen for you? And these are not going away after the quarantine. These are still going to be there. People just realize that they don't have to go in a dealership to get most of the deal done, and they can easily switch from one dealer to another if they don't trust them, if you waste their time, or you don't give them transparency. The interesting thing, we have Better Car People. We have our own call center. We have both outbound and full virtual BDC call center. And when the quarantine started, our contact ratio went up 50%, and that's held true. So now the lists that we're working, the manifest list, the Service Smarts online list, we are getting a 50% higher contact ratio. So we're getting a hold of people. That's good, right? It's good as long as you're good at setting appointments and delivering value to your customers. So here's the important thing here. If you're taking notes, this is probably the most important thing I'm going to say the entire time. The first email, text, or voicemail that you leave without value is the last one your customer is going to look at. I'll repeat that for you. The first email, text, or voicemail that you leave without value is the last one your customer is going to look at. Think of yourself right now. How much patience do you have for someone wasting your time in an online environment? And it's not a lot. So we need to get this right. So for here on out, value to the customer, trust, time, transparency. Let's make sure that we're delivering that on everything that we do. All right. So now we can get into some meat and potatoes here, and that is quarantine selling. What is the difference here? Okay, you're going to see some things that you've always seen, but there's a little different take on it. Okay, so first of all, if a customer is they're interested in a vehicle, there's a vehicle of interest. So we have to look at that. We know that to get the deal done, there's going to be a trade-in. Oh, sometimes there's not, but we at least need to ask the question because people do need to get that trade out of the way before they can buy a new vehicle. Uh, there is a price. I want to discuss how we present price in the new economy in quarantine selling. Now, I think that everybody gets scared of down payment. I think this is going to be one of those key factors that you're going to take away. At least this is what we heard from the last webinar. That key takeaway for people was, hey, let's engage with down payment. I'm going to give you a way to do that, and then finance and insurance. If they're not going to make it into the dealership until it's time to pick up delivery for the car, or if you're going to do this fully online, then we have to come across with finance and insurance. So let's start with vehicle of interest. We need to take longer to discuss because we're not just selling the appointment anymore. We really have to get into this vehicle they're looking for. So what the way we do this with our BDC, that when we do this for the dealers, that we do it for. I mean, we make thousands and thousands of calls and connections every day. I used to spend 70 grand a month at Hendrick on phone skills because the number one skill for selling cars online is phone skills. When we started our outbound BDC, my son Blake, who's 23, he was helping set that up because he's a bit of a phone guru. He's been doing this since he was 12. I'd use it to embarrass my Hendrick stores and show them that a 12-year-old can have good phone skills. But rather than all that phone skill stuff, we found out it's a lot simpler. You need to be happy, caffeinated, and have a 5-minute conversation. And why is that a 5-minute conversation? Well, that is not my opinion. That is a data-driven answer. Call Review 360 did a review of 2 million phone calls that ended in appointments. And they looked at those 2 million phone calls and find out which of those showed and which of those didn't show. And they tried to find, used natural language processing. You see every word said, was something particularly said. They looked at emotions. They looked at all this kind of stuff, and they found the only thing that made someone show instead of not show was a 5-minute conversation. A 5 to 7 minute conversation. The people showed up for the appointment. A a a uh, um, a 3-minute conversation that didn't show. So that's so what we did with our outbound BDC was saying that it's um, a happy and caffeinated, got to be happy and caffeinated, and a 5-minute conversation. So take longer to discuss. So what kind of things, if you're going to have 5 minutes, what do you need to do? Well, we need to first talk about the vehicle they're looking for. We need to challenge them, ask them why they're looking for that, that Malibu, or ask them why they're looking for that certain package, because they'll tell you, and that'll give you further insight in how you're going to be able to help them and give more options, because that's what you want to do, is give options. You have to be passionate about your product, and you have to know your product. When my son Blake was doing one of these first calls we had, he had a guy with a Tahoe on, and so Blake's on the call. He just had happy caffeinated 5-minute conversation. He says to the guy, "Hey, do you have an iPhone or an Android?" And the guy says, "I have an iPhone." And Blake says, "Do you like your iPhone?" The guy says, "Yeah, I love my iPhone." He says, "Well, great. What you do with this Tahoe is you plug in your iPhone, and the Tahoe becomes your iPhone." And the guy's like, "What?" And the whole thing was that they had a 5-minute conversation about how the Apple CarPlay works. So that's the kind of thing that you need to be having, these long conversations to get them engaged. And imagine that conversation versus what they normally get is, "When can you come in?" which they can't even do anymore. Okay, so we need to give these customers options to get their vehicle interest, to get them homed in. You have to learn more information so you can be of value to them. Okay, so we've got the vehicle interest. Let's talk about the trade. We Because we're working this deal online, we need to go through these items. Need to let the customer know that, hey, this it's never been a better time for you to be an informed consumer. Let's talk about your trade. Is there a payoff? What are your current payments? And can I go, if you haven't yet, can I take you to my website where you can do an online trade evaluation? Kelly Blue Book, Black Book, Carfax, whatever one you have, walk them through that. And we obviously, we know we can get close with those. We still obviously need to see the vehicle before you get a final number. But that's one of those self-service items that people are used to doing, and it will help them feel more confident about you and your dealership, that they're getting the deal they're looking for. All right, so price. What is Matthew going to say about price? So this is a theological question. How do you feel about price? What price do you put out there? Well, let me tell you, this is what the one thing you have to do. You have to present a trustworthy price. You cannot just MSRP may be a trustworthy price on certain vehicles, but it's certainly not on most of them, especially when they can check other dealers. It was very interesting going through my experiment with Shop Click Drive for my son getting a Blazer, and seeing what it looked like when somebody said MSRP or call for price and other dealers presented a price. It was I just I know the business. Didn't I just had such a bad feeling for the people who were saying MSRP or call for price when another dealer was transparent and showed me a price. I don't know if it's the best price. It's a trustworthy price. Also, it can't be the best price because we don't know the rest parts of the deal, and that's some of the parts that we need to realize. So, if you're a internet manager, a BDC manager, and your sales manager or general manager is not on right now, please, this deck will be available to you. Point this out. Whatever you want to, it's got to be a trustworthy price, because the deal is happening online before they ever get into the dealership. Okay. Now, hopefully, this is going to be a V curve, and we're going to go back to more normal. But that more normal is still going to be a lot more weighted towards online than it'll be offline. Now, let me bring up my favorite part about this in down payment. Um, Down payment, I think, is a great way to gain your customers' trust and let them know something that they may not realize. And that is, I like telling our customers that, you can put the down payment whatever you want to. It does change your payments. The more you put down, the lower your payments are. But there's some reasons not to put everything down, or pay the car off entirely. But they can, it affects your monthly payments, but it can also affect what interest rate you get and your ability to get approved in the first place. So what we want to do is we want to look at what different down payments may change this deal. So it's just a way to let them see under the hood and understand how this deal is going to work. And finally, finance and insurance. We're going to be we're going to need to disclose payment information early. We need to ask our customers what payments they're looking for and what kind of cars fit inside those. But we also want to know how that is affected by other items. And we definitely want to introduce our insurance options products early with the menu, just like in the finance office. We need to let customers know that these are to protect them in case they become sick or they lose their job. That's one of the things that does. Everybody scuffs up wheels. Wouldn't they like to be able to have those fixed at any time? So we need to go through, just like in finance, but that needs to be presented while you're talking to them online. It's a great way to do a self-service thing where customers can look at this at their own pace. But imagine if we spend all this time with our customer, we've got everything right for the deal. They come into the dealership to, hopefully not get a virus and want to get out there as soon as possible. And then some finance manager tries to start pushing finance products on them. It's going to be completely out of the norm for the experience of the rest of the deal. So these are our 5 items, and what we're doing right now is working on building a toolkit for you guys to work through these items. All right, so let's talk about remote work. So I got kind of deep into the into what we're going to say, how we're going to have that longer time. What kind of tools do we need? We did the technique. What kind of tools do we need? We want to look at how we increase contact ratio. Now, as I mentioned before, the 2 things that I know work, because we've been doing it since 2010, is a response time, a very quick response time, and then the ability for the customer to engage from the email or text that you send out. um, your voicemail should, if you leave a voicemail, should refer back to an email or text that has good value, somewhere for the click in there. Now, but more important than ever is video. And I've been doing video since 1996, I think is when we figured it out. And I was actually using Google Video. Is before Google bought YouTube. uh, I was in El Cerrito, California, at a Honda store, and I'd go in, and the night before I'd get in to present the next day at the sales meeting about how to do better follow up. And so I would call all the 90-day-old non-contacted leads. So for 3 months, the dealership worked on these leads, but they never got in contact with them. I would be uh, so I'd call and I get a hold of people. So I got a hold of this lady, Ann. Ann wasn't young. She was an elderly lady. I could tell from the voice. And Ann wanted a used CRV, Honda CRV. So I used all my super phone skills, and finally I came up and I said, Ann, when are you looking to buy this CRV? And she's like, I'm looking in April. Well, this was January. So she sent in a lead 7 months before she was wanting to buy. So, a little atypical, but maybe not. So I tried everything I could and finally said, Ann, if I found a used CRV that a little old lady just drove back and forth to church on Sunday, would that speed you up some? And she said, maybe. And that's where we left it. So I was like, what can I do? So I had then I had one of those little flip cameras, and some of you guys know what those look like. And I went out and did a walk around video, the worst walk around video you've ever have. The point is, I did one though. I talked about the easy open doors and had cassette. I said, we don't get much of that anymore. And she was old. Maybe she would use cassette. Anyway, I sent that video to her. Um, she called back. We sold. It took 3 days. We sold the car, and she got it for cost just because she was a mean old lady. But that's when I knew that worked, and we spread that all throughout Hendrick. And since then, I've been a big advocate of video. Right now, we have to use video. So what I wanted to show you is something that we're using at Better Car People with our customers. So if you're a Better Car People customer, you probably have my deal success team reach out to you, and we partnered up with Co-Video to to create a new video product for you guys. It's called Spotlight Video. Now, I'm saying this. I'm going to present this to show you how it can be done. You can do this with There's a lot of other video products, including on YouTube. YouTube, I used to only do YouTube, but I found out that these things make it a lot easier. So there's other ones. There's other IMR turnkey vendors that do this. I don't think any CRMs have it right now. Digital Airstrike has one. There's a couple other ones, but ask your vendor if you have one. If not, we'd love to show you. We even have a special offer for you guys to be able to use this for free if you're a current customer. So anyway, so what you do is you need to create, share, and then be able to track. Um, the the create is the hard part that everybody has a problem getting over. In fact, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna show you my video right now so you can see me moving my hands and doing all that. Hi guys. All right, so the create part's the difficult part, right? Because it's getting your phone out and figuring that out, how you're going to upload it, and then how you're going to share it out. Uh, our Spotlight video program makes that really easy. You have uh, a browser base that can work from any Chrome browser, or you have a phone app so you can do walk around stuff like that. We use a lot with the browser base, because what we'll do is just like you, maybe you've gotten a hold of a customer before and now you're getting back a hold of them, you can't get a hold of them. So what we'll do is we'll shoot the video of what we would have said when we could, and then let them look at it of their own. It's very interesting when we do it with you guys at dealerships, because then what we find out is we give you, like, say, that monthly update, what's changed with your account, what you could do make things better, and then we can see that video being used over and over again in the dealership, because you've got to go, like, after this webinar, you're going to go and convince someone else to make changes. So that's what the kind of thing that we want to do. You're going to share this. You want that to be easy, whatever tool you're using. You don't send out a video in email. You send out a link. Some of these products like Spotlight Video and some other ones out there, they make it really easy to send out that link, and then you want to be able to track and find out if it was effective. If someone looked at it and you get to know that information, it's fantastic, and you know it's exactly your information. It's not something that they maybe stopped reading at some point. You know if the video was looked at completely. So I'll show you kind of an example of using that toolkit I showed earlier, an initial video for someone to see if that'll get in good engagement. So I'm going to turn off my video here, and then I'm going to share you a new screen. So just give me a second here. All right, share sound. All right, and share. Okay. Okay, so this is something we use. I use our Spotlight video. It's interesting on Spotlight. It allows when they open up the video to have a custom page that you're into, and I created these buttons that go back to the website for information. So without further ado, I'm going ahead and play this for you guys. All right, here we go.
Mic off.
This is Matthew Belk from City Chevrolet. I really appreciate you sending in your inquiry on a 2020 Tahoe. It's a fantastic vehicle. Have a quick question. You're looking for a 4x4. Why are you looking for a 4x4? There's some specific uses that you're doing. I just know some options that may not show up on the website, so I'll make sure you get the right vehicle. Now, Corona has made our lives harder, but it's never made it easier to buy a car. We've put items in place to make sure we can deliver you a virus-free car, but the fun part is that you get to see under the hood on what makes the deal. So what we're going to do is go through what can make your payments go up or down. You've never had a chance to be more of an informed consumer, and I'm going to walk you through that. Now, the first part is you'll see these links at the top here. At your own pace, you can go through and check out. You can appraise your vehicle. You can do that right online. Tell us things that we need to know so we can give more money for your car. The secrets of down payment. You can put your down payment as whatever you want, but it does more than just make your payments go up or down. It can change your finance rate. It can even change the ability for you to get financed. So I have some information there for you on that. The next is what's in a monthly payment. What levers do you have to make that go up or down? And you get to make those decisions. It's empowering you to know what changes that in your deal. And then because you won't be coming into the dealership, I've already put up your finance products so you can review those on your own, and we can walk hand in hand through those. Finance products are just there to protect your deal in case something happens, like you lose your job while you're financing the vehicle, and it can cover your payments. Other items like that. So it's never been a better time for you to be more of an informed consumer on purchasing this vehicle. There's a good little bit for us to go through, but it's going to save you time at the end.
Mic on.
I'm here to walk you through it all.
Mic off.
I really appreciate this opportunity to earn your business, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Mic on.
Okay, guys. Sorry I had to put up with my voice and face there for a little bit, but but you can see that what we're doing is we're being able to build that trust through video. Our customers know who they're working with, and it is um, it's just there's no other way to do this. It's fantastic. So whichever way that you look at using video, if you use it now right now, and I'd love to, as we're about to get into our Q&A, for you to tell us the different ways you're using it. We're showing you our solution. We send out hundreds of videos a week with this to our customers. So and there's all these, 90% of all statistics are made up, but these I'm sure are good ones. A 19% increase in open rate when videos in the subject line. You can double the amount of time on your sites with videos. And like I said, we should be introducing the ways we're doing things, particularly like how we're making sure we're delivering a virus-free car. And our 96% higher click-through rates than emails without videos. Okay, so let's jump into some Q&A here. Like I said, Jordan and I are open up here. We've got, let me hit some of the ones, answer some of the ones. Yes, we'll be sending out the entire deck. In fact, I think that we're going to go ahead and send that, attach that to our info at bettercarpeople.com/gm/support page, because we can do that. So I just sent that over to my IT guys. So you might have to wait, within 30 minutes, we'll make sure we'll have that up there. Some of the questions that we've had on other ones is how we've had remote work. What tools have people used to be able to work remotely at different places. At Better Carpet, we use Google because we set it up from 2010. So we're using Google Meet and Google Hangouts to be able to connect with each other and be able to do the one-to-one videos with consumers. It works well, but you can use Zoom and some other products with that also. Um, Let me see if we have any other on the questions. Now's the time for you guys to put your questions in here. Right there. On our last webinar, and after the webinar, we heard a lot more about that trustworthy price, and we just spent some time talking through with people what a trustworthy price would be for your dealership for different. Maybe it's a matrix that you set up that, hey, these are going to be pricing, but really ends up being an overall pricing what you're going to do on your website, what you're going and so the website price is the price you work with. Maybe there might be some movement when it comes down to the final parts of the deal of changing in finally changing the payments in the end. And that's what I would share with customers is like, this is the price we have on the website. I wouldn't be able to do anything else until we got into a specific vehicle, and I want to make sure you get the right vehicle. So let's work the rest of parts of the deal, but this is going to be very close to what we do. So that's kind of the that trustworthy price that we're looking for on there. Okay, looks like with 152 employees, we answered all the questions for you guys. We'd love to help you out with more of this. Like I said, we're building a toolkit to be able to work further with this. You'll have that information. Oh, salespeople and F&I products. Elaborate how to show pricing. Okay, so what you'll want to do with that is to be able to present that menu pricing just like F&I. And I know that F&I managers are going to like freak out about this, but it's just that we don't have a captive customer anymore. So if you have most people have the menu pricing here. I'm going to put this video back on so you can see me going through. Most people have the menu pricing like the good, better, best. Right now, we need to be able to present that online. Now, maybe it is something that you do using like a Google Meet or a Zoom or something like that, where you do it one-to-one with the customer. And it's not up on a website published for everybody, but but you do need to put it up there. So you do need to be able to present that online. So I would say the the menu pricing, maybe go through it and say, hey, at the end of this, you're still going to have to talk to an F&I manager to be able to do all your title paperwork and everything else. I just want to get you familiar with these so that you can have informed questions to ask the finance professional. So that's one way that you would be able to do that F&I products, but you need to present those while they're still at home before they come into the dealership, or it's not gonna go well for the flow of this deal. I believe you're gonna be able to do a little more. What's the best way to hold an Apple phone during your recording? Okay, all right. Well, so that's a great question. Here's the thing. The there's let's go with good, better, and best. You can make this really nice. There's for $30, there's gimbal sets that don't let anything that moves smooth. But most phones now have stabilization, so it doesn't shake as much. If you think they're going to look at this on their phone, then this is the way that you hold it. Okay. If they're going to look at it on their computer, then this is the way you hold it. So it's one of those thoughts of which way that you think they're going to go through this, and they're going to share with other people. People realize if you do it this way, then that they know to spin their phone around to see better. So if you have more, this is good for something just right with me. But if I'm doing walkarounds, I kind of actually like walkarounds this way because people tend to spend a lot more time and look closer at that. Let me mention the one thing about the video that people miss out on, and and thank you very much, Derek, for the question. They miss out is the audio quality has to be good. You can really get away with a lot, okay, of as far as the image goes and what you shoot, that kind of thing. But audio quality, everyone stops listening right away. They stop looking at your video. So make sure that's good. My website platform can't use stop click drive. What would be a source that can use, like, okay, so online retailing, so your website currently, thank you, Brandon, that doesn't have shop click drive. I think I know there's been in the last 2 weeks changes to shop click drive to make that better. I think you need to talk to some of your GM field reps about possibly being able to use that. But other than that, there is Roadster has an online retailing product, and AutoFi are the two main ones right now that, at least if you looked at those, you'd have an idea of what those are. These are not inexpensive products to go through there, but I would at least go through those demos to be able to I'd go through the demo, just see how that works and what you're looking out of a product, and find out how much you maybe be able to do that walking through your own website with your customer. And that's a big deal. So walking through your website on what's available in there and showing them different vehicles, being able to screen share like that, you need to be able to do that. But the AutoFi or Roadster would be two of the main products there. Let's see, I just got another one. Okay, that's Jordan is letting everybody else know. Okay, that's all right. Pretty good. Let me while it's turning over to while we're looking at this, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this back. Oh, I've just got one. Thank you, Stephen. There we go. All right. So Gino, we'll see any other questions come in, but I'll let you go ahead and give them the resources available when they get back.
Awesome. Thanks, Matthew. Thanks again for taking time out of your day to review this information with
Oh,
us.
Gino, let me just do this right quick. I'm going to go ahead and start this poll while you're doing that, if that's okay.
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
so yeah, so guys, what I'm doing, I'm launching a poll right now, and what it is just GM has some standard questions they ask about webinars that they want the information back, and so while Gino is sharing the rest of this information, you'll have a chance to answer the poll for us, and we really appreciate it because this isn't the last one we're going to be doing. So go ahead, Gino.
No, yeah, thanks, Matt. Again, I just wanted to thank everybody for dialing in today. Thanks to Better Car People for this wealth of information. Thanks to our field and brand team members out there for staying dialed in and encouraging dealerships to join this call. And lastly, thank you to all of you out there who are, doing the best they can during these challenging times to serve our customers and keep them engaged in and out of the car buying process. Again, I'll reiterate, the BDC support app is on Global Connect a ton of information there, centering around sales and service, BDC content, phone handling skills, call scripts, you name it. Everything is on there from all of our approved BDC vendors. Please be sure to check out that after this call. And then lastly, again, Shopify Drive broadcast is out there. There are Center of Learning courses out there around convert more leads, phone skills, data-driven campaigns. So I encourage you, again, these are more resources just to take, bits and pieces of all of them and just apply it to, your daily skills and daily workflow as we go forward through this crisis. So with that, thank you to all of you. Thanks, Matt.
Mic on.
Sure. Yeah.
And this
Thank you,
will
Gino.
be,
Yeah.
and this will be recorded and we will be sharing it out.
We'll share this out, and also you'll be receiving a one of the other things that GM wants to know is what other topics you guys would like to discuss in the future. That'll be coming out to your email with a SurveyMonkey survey. If you guys would, as many as possible, let us know what other topics you're looking for so that we can see if we can provide them for you. So with that, I really appreciate everybody's time, and thanks for coming out for our webinar, and happy quarantine selling.
Mic off.